you're still here. I'm so happy you're still here. Glad to hear it. Glad to see it. Listen, grab your coffee. Today we're going to be talking about where you can find the best deals in real estate post-hurricane 2024. Listen, I know you've heard it. I know you're reading the news. I know you're seeing it all over the place. They are saying that nobody wants to buy in Florida anymore. Florida is done. Nobody wants to live there. Are you out of your mind? Why would you want to live there? Listen, you're still here. And there are a lot of people that are still here. But not quite as many. And I'm going to tell you what. I always tell you we're honest on this channel. You can get the brochure anywhere. You can hear about brochure living anywhere. But here, I like to kind of tell you the good with the bad, because I would want to know that myself if I were thinking about buying in an area that I was not super familiar with, because vacation living is not the same as living. So on this channel, we give you honesty. And by the way, on that note, if you're interested in doing a deep dive in what you are looking for, maybe you're not even thinking about buying for a year or 2 or 3. Maybe you're 65 years old and you want to buy something now so that you can have somebody else start paying for it. You're going to rent it out, and then in 3 years, you're going to take over. You're going to move in. You're going to be there 6 months out of the year. Maybe you're going to be there for the full year. If you want to go down that path, I would love to have a conversation with you. Here is my information, and I'll leave it down in the description box. All right, so how do things look after the hurricane? You might be one of those people that's hearing everybody say, I don't want to move to Florida, I'm leaving Florida. People are listing like crazy right now. I'm telling you, they absolutely are. I got 6 calls last week, come list me calls, because people are just done. I did a video last week and I explained to you all the reasons that you're going to see some of that. And listen, you might be one of those people. You might be typing it right now.
I wish they would. I wish they would. Please do us all a favor and get out of my state. I wish you would leave.
You might be one of those people. If you are one of those people, you might be in luck, because I'm telling you, I wouldn't so much call it a mass exodus, but it's close. It is a little bit close to Katie bar the door. So I'm going to tell you right now where the deals are happening. And this is even as we move into season. So number one, where I'm seeing really, I would say probably the best buys is new construction. New construction, there was a time during COVID, we basically as real estate agents had to show up at the door of these new construction sites with chocolates and flowers in hand to get them to even let us represent our buyer. It was insanity. And I knew, after doing this 26 years, I thought, they're going to regret that, because there's going to come a day where they need us and they need the buyers, and maybe treating the buyers and the agents like absolute is not going to work to their advantage. That day has come. So what is new construction offering right now? I have seen, I'm just going to list off to you what I have seen. I have seen significant rate buy downs. I have seen free pools. Now, a free pool in Southwest Florida today, you're talking about $75,000, $100,000. If they're going to put the concrete around it and add the pool cage, you're talking about $125,000, maybe even $150,000. I have seen free spas attached to the pool. I have seen free furniture. I have seen furniture credits. I've seen model home with all the furniture. You don't have to pay for it outside of the deal. I have seen $10,000 in closing costs. Also, on top of that, pick one of these things, the free pool, the rate buy down. On top of that, I've seen them negotiate the price. Usually with new construction, many times, they're just going to say our price is what it is. We're not going to move off that. Maybe we'll give you $500 towards your closing costs. It doesn't really excite anyone. What's going on right now? Pretty exciting. And listen, I'm just going to tell you this. The builders, for the most part, I have not seen one single time since we made the changeover where some buyers are in a position where they're making the decision to pay the commission to the buyer's agent. With new construction, I have not seen that. I haven't seen one reputable builder who isn't willing to pay the agent on your behalf. Listen, as agents, we know what people are getting. We know who got all the furniture. We know who got a full furniture package credit. We know who got a pool cage, a lanai thrown in when they said they wouldn't do it. We know all these things. So we know what to ask for. And if you're working with a good agent, they're not going to get their feelings hurt or feel like they're going to harm their own reputation while they're trying to get you the best deal as possible. Because that's what we do. You know, we should be taking the heat for you so that you're not the one sitting there at the desk asking for A, B, C, D. And I always say, you don't know what you don't know. You don't know what I negotiated 2 weeks prior for this other set of buyers. All right, second place, you're going to find good buys. Condos near the water. Now you might be saying,
Wait a minute, Barrett.
Are you crazy?
That is the exact thing I don't want.
here's the deal. If you are willing to take the risk, and if you quantify that number in your mind and then add 20% to it, you might be able to get a really good deal. There are a lot of sellers out there right now, and I mean a lot, that are done with their 2-2 condos. They're finished. And if they are near water, and they are people that are in that position where you have to get the engineer's report, and then you get set up for an assessment that is through the ceiling, and you're worried that that assessment's going to be $100,000 plus. If you're a buyer that can really do your homework and make sure that you're working with an agent that's going to dig for you to kind of sniff around and figure out, is this coming down the pike? Can I reasonably look at this condo and say, yeah, this was built in 1975. This is 2 miles from the beach. There's an asphalt shingle roof up there. So those condos that everybody wanted to buy during COVID, everybody wanted to say, look, I can bike 2 miles to the beach. I can get that done. If you're willing to look at those and really know, you have to know you're going to have some risk in that. But if you can negotiate a deal with a seller who is just over it, doesn't want to go through another hurricane, doesn't want to take the chance that they get hit with a big assessment, as long as you quantify that in your mind, you're going to see some really good buys there. So look at Siesta Key. They took a direct hit. There are a lot of landlords that have lost their rental income that they were counting on for season. A lot of people have bailed out of those rentals. And you know, you can understand why. If the complex got destroyed, the pool is ruined, it's got 8 feet of sand in the pool, parts of the beach are destroyed, there's glass on the beach. This is not somewhere that people are going to choose to bring their family if they can get out of it, and most leases do have that clause where you can get out of it. So one place that you can go look for a good deal is VRBO, Vacation Rental by Owner. It's also called HomeAway. If you go on there and you are willing to just start sending emails and making phone calls, you sure as heck might find somebody that's like, you know what, I wasn't thinking about selling, but yeah, I'd consider it at this point. There are a lot of exasperated sellers that if you show up with cash in hand, they very well may take you up on it. Number 4, the next place you can find really good deals. If you have an agent, and just ask your agent, if you know you want a 2-2 condo that's 4 miles away from the beach because you don't want to get into that whole scenario, ask your agent, give me the top 3 communities that fit my requirements. Maybe you want high ceilings, maybe you want a white kitchen, maybe you want a beautiful resort style pool. Give me the top 3 communities that have the most listings available. So think about that, especially on a condo and even in some HOA communities, because a lot of those 0 lot line homes, those villas, they look a lot alike, and it's very hard to distinguish difference And when you can't distinguish difference, it's hard to add value to your unit or your home versus someone else's. If all the views are similar, then it's really hard to say mine is worth more than yours. So if you're looking at something where there's an abundance of property on the market, it's just natural that a seller is going to have to negotiate more if they want to sell, especially in those condos like your 2-2 condos, because everything is essentially the same. The floor plans are the same. Many times the views are the same in most of them. Everybody wants a little bit of a water view, maybe a little bit of a golf course view. There's lots of those that are on the market. So if you target 3 or 4 communities that you're happy with, just make offers. Just make offers. Big deal. If you have to change out the light fixtures, maybe you have to pull out carpet and put luxury vinyl flooring in, you will get the better deal because there's so many other choices on the market for someone to choose from. And trust me when I tell you, sellers know this. Even if there's somebody who is just hanging on for dear life and they're not dropping the price, make the offer. Make the offer because you never know. All right, and the last one. I know I'm going to hurt somebody's feelings. Somebody's going to get mad. Somebody is typing right now as I say it, Cape Coral. If you're just focusing on price point and you want to be in Southwest Florida and you don't care if you don't have a beach in your community. By the way, some of you have argued with me that the yacht club is actually a beach. I have argued that it is not. It is not a beach. It is not Gulf of Mexico. It's just sand and then it's river. But, you know, we're not going to get into that one. And by the way, I don't know if you know this, but the boathouse burned down. Can you believe that? About a week ago? Very sad. So anyway, outside of that conversation, Cape Coral is, I mean, it is like 1 in 4 houses for sale. Cape Coral, there are so many houses for sale. And if you have the 3-2 home with no pool and you back to another house, I am so sorry to tell you, but you're going to give that place away, essentially. There are so many of those. Now, even if you're on water, there are a lot of people that are on those small canals. If you're on big water, if you're on the Caloosahatchee, you're probably fine. If you're sort of one canal back from open water, you're probably fine. But everybody else, the canals in Cape Coral can get very, very skinny. So if you have one of those houses, some of the canals are only 20 feet wide. And if you've got a boat dock and a boat dock, I mean, there's very little room to get through that. And when you think about a water view, you're thinking about a big, beautiful water view. You're not thinking about 10 feet of water that you're looking at. Or you're looking right over that little bitty canal that sometimes gets full of red tide and dead fish and sludge and whatever. If you're at the end of the canal, you can have all the trash will kind of collect itself down at the end of the canal. You might be looking right over that and into somebody's kitchen. Now listen, I am not trying to make enemies in Cape Coral. I have sold a lot of property in Cape Coral myself. And if you like something that feels maybe like, I don't know, anywhere USA suburbs with palm trees, you might like Cape Coral if you like affordability. And I'm telling you, if you are just looking for a deal, you just want to be in Southwest Florida, and you have a price point of under $300,000, and you want a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home, listen, I'm going to tell you what, you can find it in Cape Coral. So those are my top 5 tips on how you can find the best buy right now, 2024 in Florida. You know, there's a thought process that the best time if you're a buyer to buy a property in Florida is after a hurricane because of all the reasons we talked about. So if you're in the market, we're happy to help. You know how to reach me down below in the description box.